Hey there, everyone. It's Dracus. If you've clicked on the video, if you've read the title, and if you've been following the channel, you know what I'm about to share with you, and you know that it's not good news. I'd feared this day would come, and indeed it has. I will try to keep this video as brief as possible. I'm not using a script. Let's jump into it. If you've been following the channel, you know what Where We Cannot Go is, and it is a video series I've been working on with my friend Alex using my childhood Lego and Bionicle collection, and about a year and a half ago, one of the hard drives that we'd stored a great deal of footage on malfunctioned, and it's been in recovery for as long a time. About a week ago, I got the final verdict on the recovery. After much effort, after a lot of time spent giving it our all and hoping that the drive could be recovered, the company I gave it to let me know that unfortunately they only recovered a small fraction of the information off the drive. There was what appeared to be some kind of damage to the platters on which the data are stored inside the drive. The language they used was rotational scoring, so there was damage to the areas where data was stored, and therefore the data are gone. I don't know how that damage happened, but what I have to share with you all is that this is my fault, and I have to own this failure. For the past close to 10 years, I had really wanted to create a video series of this story that I came up with my friend Alex. He and I worked many hours, a lot of time and energy was devoted to coming up with this story of Where We Cannot Go as a sequel to a childhood YouTube series I made a long time ago, super cringy, super embarrassing, called What We Cannot See. People watching the channel probably know it. Where We Cannot Go was intended to be accessible to new audiences, but also a meaningful sequel to fans of the old series. And it was really meant to be a video series. It was really meant to be something visual. I am sorry to report that that's not going to be the case, that the drive is not recoverable, and we don't have enough footage to film out the entire series. There's a lot of footage that has been preserved. It's been backed up. I've learned my lesson. So there is a lot that remains of the story, but not enough to film out the entire series. And so that's the bad news I have to break to everyone. For those who have been watching the channel for a very long time, who've been following this story and, have been waiting for Where We Cannot Go, I am very sorry to all of you. I own this. I have to carry this failure for the rest of my life. And to those of you who were waiting for Where We Cannot Go, I am very sorry that it's not going to be the video series it was intended to be. I completely understand if, upon hearing this news, you want to check out, you're like, I'm done with Dracus, I can't deal with it, he hasn't put out a meaningful video in 5 years or more, I'm just going to unsubscribe and leave. And if that's the case, I will never fault you for feeling that way. I thank you for all the time you've given me, and I wish you well. The rest of this video is going to be addressed to the people who are choosing to stay, and what the path forward for this channel will be. So first, for Where We Cannot Go. I think in a previous video, I had talked about there was a very real possibility that this data could not be recovered. And so a plan B was being put in place in the event of that. Now we have to go with plan B to tell the story. I want to tell this story, and as long as I have a pulse, I'm going to work towards telling it. I just believe that deeply in it, and I think Alex, he wants to see it told too, because he was so involved in it. I won't speak for him, but that's what I gathered from talking with him. So the plan now that the video series Where We Cannot Go cannot be filmed as a video series, I'm now turning the events of the story into a kind of novelization, if I can use that term. So basically, we're going to take the script of every single episode, all 16 of the episodes, and turn each episode into its own little novella. It's going to be written as if it was a novel. There's going to be all of the dialogue will be preserved. So none of the dialogue is being changed. All the story sequences are staying in place the way that the story would unravel in script form and in video form. It will unravel as well in terms of narrative plot point sequence. All of that's going to stay the same in the written form. Um, and as I said, the dialogue will all stay the same. All the characters are going to stay the same. It's going to be the same story, but just told through a different means. I have done something like this on the channel before in What We Cannot See in its past. There were periods in the story of What We Cannot See where I was trying to wrap up certain plot points. Oftentimes I wanted to do it quickly, or I just, for whatever reason, didn't have the means to film out that particular part of the story. So what I would do in those cases, we used to call them readouts, where I would write the story as if it was a work of written fiction, and then I would narrate that on the channel and treat it kind of like an audiobook. And I would often set images to my narration to help illustrate it. So it would still effectively be a video, but it was kind of like an illustrated audiobook. That's what those readouts were. And for Where We Cannot Go, it's going to be a more polished and more a presentable version of that. They're going to essentially be what we used to call readouts on the channel for the entire series of Where We Cannot Go. That's the plan because of my failure and my negligence on the drive. That's what we're left with. And so that is the plan. I will be doing all of the writing. I've already finished the first episode. I'm starting on the second, and I'm going to do all the narrating once it's done. So I'll narrate all the characters, including the female characters. I've more or less decided that while it would be nice to hire an actress to do it, I feel like having one voice pop in when I'm doing all the narrating for all the other stuff, I think it might be a little jarring. And if I just treat it like one narrated piece, then I think it'll just be more cohesive. Now, and there's a history of me voicing female characters in What We Cannot See, and it was super cringy. It was so. What I'm going to do when it gets to the point of narrating female characters, I'm not going to make it sound too feminine. I'm not going to get too weird with that. I'm just going to kind of act them out as I would a male character, basically. And you just have to, in your head, imagine that this is a female character. That's how I'll be treating it. But for the male characters, and the vast majority of the characters in Where We Cannot Go are male, I had very particular voices I had in mind for them. And I really, when writing the script and when rehearsing the scenes in my head as I filmed the series, and as I kind of tried to get into their heads to make sure I was writing the story the way I felt it should be written, I just have a very particular way that I want all these characters to sound. So when I narrate these written segments, I am going to get into character. I'm going to really, really embody these characters as best I can because I feel like I know them. I feel like I just feel like I know them deeply, and I want to make sure that they come out as lively as possible, even in a written form. So I will at least provide that performative aspect to the story. And then I don't know if I'm going to do anything like adding sound effects or music. I'm going back and forth on that. I have to decide if that's worthwhile. I think it might be better just to let it all be an audiobook with no embellishment, just a standard work of fiction, basically, and that I'm narrating. And I think that just might be the more appropriate path. But I have to see what's most fitting. One thing I will be doing, though, like the readouts in the past, I will be adding lots of images to illustrate what is going on in what I'm narrating. So just like we did with the readouts, there's going to be a lot of images to punctuate the story as I'm narrating it out. But for Where We Cannot Go specifically, there is so much footage that we have preserved from the filming process, that I have a lot to work with in terms of showing you the specific moments and the locations and the big events that happen throughout the series. There's a lot I still have um, to add extra texture through images to what I'm narrating. So that at least is what I'm going to provide, because the story did happen, even though I'm not going to be able to deliver it in a full video series. We completed the filming. We filmed all the scenes earlier this year. We completed all the filming earlier this year, and the story, it in a way, it did happen. These characters, these models, they did go to the places they were uh, supposed to go in the script, and they traveled all over. So it happened. I want to at least provide some evidence of that journey through through these readouts. I don't know if I'll call them that, but anyway. So that's the plan for where we cannot go as far as the story. That's just where we're at right now. One caveat I do want to mention, and I have to mention it nowadays: no AI is touching this in any way. I'm not having AI read it. I don't have any AI models installed in my computer. Personally, I don't want AI anywhere near where we cannot go, what we cannot see. I don't want it anywhere near this universe. However challenging it may be to avoid AI in the coming world, for this story, I don't want it anywhere near it. So I just want you to know this is all written from humans. Humans are writing it, humans are editing it, and there's no AI involvement. I just want to be crystal clear about that, in case there was any worry about that. This is going to be, it was a man made story back when I started it in 2008. It will end a man made story with no AI involvement at all. So that's how I feel about that. And that's just what I want you all to know. Something that has been fully recovered from the drive and from all the other backups I've done periodically. Um, where We Cannot Go, it was a video series, like I said, that was made using a childhood Lego and Bionicle collection. And I had a lot of Legos and I had a lot of Bionicles growing up. I have since sold most of them off. And I no longer have access to the locations some of the locations where we filmed Where We Cannot Go. So there is no way to refilm any of the footage of the story. Nevertheless, one thing I always did when I was taking apart models, or whenever I completed a certain scene, anytime I knew that a Lego mock or a Bionicle mock, anytime I knew that one of those models was finished, like I finished all the scenes for it, I would document it. I would take pictures of it just because I wanted to see, like, here are all the things that were built for this series. For whatever reason, all of the mock documentation has survived this process. So either these will come in videos later on, or maybe I'll upload them to a website. I don't know, but there's documentation of all the mocks that were made, Lego mocks and Bionicle mocks, for Where We Cannot Go. So at some point, I can share those all with you. In what form, I don't know, but at some point I want to, because I want you all to know we built this universe. We built it. We built the characters for it. We built the models for it. A lot of the main characters, just out of as mementos from this whole experience, I still have them. They're still in my possession. The main characters, the main roster of named characters, for the most part, are with me, and I will probably keep them for the rest of my life. But most of the other stuff has been sold off and disassembled. So yeah, the mocks have been documented as far as I can see. I've somehow come out of this with all that documentation, so I'll be able to share those images at some point. Um, so that's where We Cannot Go stands. Now, as far as the future of the channel, this is obviously a big and unfortunate development, because this channel, I had told myself I'm going to keep this channel quiet until Where We Cannot Go is done. And now Where We Cannot Go can't be a video series. So what does the future of this channel look like? I don't have any plans to leave YouTube personally, and I would like to make more content for this channel. I'd like to put more life back into this channel at some point going forward. For Where We Cannot Go, a lot of the future of this channel is going to depend on the response to Where We Cannot Go. There is a chance that you guys hate the story of Where We Cannot Go and you think this is terrible. I don't like the direction of this, can't do it. In that case, I'm still going to upload the story in this readout form. I'm still going to do it because I believe in it and I think it's the conclusion that the universe deserves. But if you guys don't like it and if people are turned off by it, then we never touch this universe again. And that'll be the end of it. Never speak of it again. It is what it is. And then at that point, doors wide open for whatever content I might want to make. However, if there is a positive response, and at this point, I have no illusion that anyone other than core fans are going to be interested in this is an audiobook. And that's okay. That's okay. We initially wanted to attract new audiences, but I just don't see it. And so I'm writing this for you. And I just want to make sure that people who are currently invested in the universe, that I give you the conclusion to it. If there is a positive response, and even if new audiences get into it, if that's cool too, if that happens. But if there is a positive response to it, there still is a lot of material related to What We Cannot See, Where We Cannot Go. A lot of universe backstory, character backgrounds. There's a lot of material I would like to write about moments in the universe's history to flesh out certain undeveloped plot lines. There's a lot I've had in my head that I've wanted to write out about this universe. And so if there is interest in further development of it and learning more about it, and I can do that later on. But it would probably be in the similar readout form, So that's what we're facing. And I still think whatever happens with the channel or whatever happens with Where We Cannot Go, I might branch out into all number of different types of content. There's a lot of topics I'd like to write thought pieces on. I think the channel will always have a certain proximity to Lego and Bionicle. I might talk about aspects of Lego or aspects of Bionicle that I've always liked. And, if that sounds interesting, we can explore that down the road. But that is the future of the channel as I can see it. But right now, my focus is delivering Where We Cannot Go. Even in a diminished form, I have to tell this story. I just have to. And I owe it to you guys. I owe it to my friend Alex, who's been incredibly gracious with me, even with all my failures throughout this. And that is where we're headed. As a final thought, I've been thinking, having a disaster like this happen. It's not a disaster. There's far worse things in life than losing computer data. But having something this heartbreaking, I guess, happen, it just makes you look back on the past in totality. And there is a certain irony to the fact that I called my childhood series What We Cannot See, and now the series I had intended, Where We Cannot Go, that's the thing that we will not be able to see. That's the thing we cannot see because the data is lost. So I don't know if people find that amusing. I find it just ironic, in a perverse sort of way. And I don't know, that's just something that kind of occurred to me. But nevertheless, What We Cannot See, as a video series, it's very embarrassing for me. I've said it a million times. It's very cringy. It showcases all of the bizarre mental states I was in as an adolescent, all the weird things, weird sensibilities I had back then. But it is filmed for the most part, and it is completed. And even though I think Where We Cannot Go is it's a better story, or I think I appreciate it more as a narrative. What We Cannot See as a piece of YouTube material, it will always remain special because it was filmed and it was it did make it onto YouTube as a video series. So in a way, it will always have that it'll always have that accolade or that merit to it that Where We Cannot Go will not have. It was What We Cannot See is the video series. Where We Cannot Go is the written conclusion to What We Cannot See. So That's all I have. Um, I appreciate you guys immensely if you've stayed this long into the video. I repeat again how sorry I am that I failed you guys, that I was not more diligent in backing up our data. And I apologize to Alex and and I I couldn't be luckier to have you as a friend and as a collaborator. For all the crap you put up with, man. I appreciate it, and I'm very sorry that it's gotten to this point. I nevertheless hope that I can do the story we came up with, do it justice, because I do believe it is a good story, and I believe it is worth telling. And I certainly hope that people on this channel who decide to remain after this news, I hope you all give it a chance because I think you will like it, but only time will tell. All right, folks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm working hard on those readouts, and I hope to have the story of Where We Cannot Go over to you soon. Take care, and thanks.